After a 1.5-year cycle of eclipses in Aries and Libra, we are finally ending this with a gradual but very sensitive letting go of the life focus that you've had over the past 1.5 years. That you probably put a lot of effort, a lot of independence, and a lot of alone time working towards. And now you're finally able to look at it and appreciate it and move on. So if you're excited to dive into what exactly we can expect for this lunar eclipse in Aries, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you're new here, or if you just somehow forgot my name, I am Maren. I'm an astrologer. I also make music, and all that info can be found below. Whether you want to get a private reading from me, I do one-on-one readings. I also have courses and other offerings that aren't on YouTube, or if you want to stream my music, that in particular, go find me. So this lunar eclipse in Aries is happening on October 7th, 2024 at 4:27 a.m. Pacific time, or about 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's happening with the sun at 24 degrees of Libra and therefore the moon at 24 degrees of Aries. So lunar eclipses are basically full moons on steroids. If you're unfamiliar with eclipses, I have a full video series from a few years ago that's still really relevant on explaining what they are. But think of solar eclipses as new moons on steroids and lunar eclipses as full moons on steroids. It is technically a full moon, but it's at a position in the sky that accentuates its importance and shows it being much more influential and spread out rather than a small one-off event. So the North Node is currently in Aries and it only has a few more months left there, which means that over the past 1.5 years, because it's about a 1.5-year eclipse cycle, the North Node has been bringing focus, drive, obsession, and a lot of growth into the Aries part of our chart. And collectively, it's shown a lot of growth of Aries traits, which are independence, being alone but very directed towards a goal, and being courageous, although impulsive towards something. So it's been kind of childlike impulsivity. And I think that a lot of the trends or focus for meme trend, any kind of social cultural trend has played into a lot of infantile, me, bratty qualities. I don't mean to be making a brat joke there, but I literally mean just the directness and the kind of selfishness of cultural, and not in a bad way at all. I actually don't think that selfishness necessarily is a bad thing, but the directness and simplicity of the trends have been towards self-servedness and prioritizing direct gratification and simplicity, even in primary colors. And a lot of the trends are kind of campaigns that you might have seen popularized over the past 1.5 years. So with the lunar eclipse happening there, it shows a letting go of that part of our chart. And I will get into at the end of this video, getting into what this means for each of us based on where it is falling in your chart. But it is a letting go of that focus on independence. And it is a collective kind of okay, we individualize, we got there, each in our lives, we work towards achieving something ourselves alone that we've now gotten. Now, this eclipse will be closely conjunct Chiron. And Chiron is an asteroid. It's not a planet. It can't make any aspects. But when it's conjunct something, technically a conjunction is not an aspect, so it can conjoin something. Chiron is an asteroid that represents growing into something that you were once very insecure about, or taking something that you were very humiliated about. Sorry if you hear my cats running around. I'm letting them in the room for once because I'm just too tired to keep the door closed nowadays. Chiron shows being humiliated or ashamed or kind of insecure about something. Maybe it is a lack or a deficit or an impairment or just something that you felt insecure about, that you felt that you weren't good at or didn't have early on. Usually it's an early life wound. It usually is something that you will end up being very proud of or outspokenly not ashamed of. So not everyone has a very prominent Chiron. Not everyone has something that they go 0 to 100 about. Not everyone becomes some kind of TED Talk speaker about their disability or something. But with this eclipse conjunct Chiron, it does show that what you started out focusing on 1.5 years ago, what you started really putting yourself first in, or you started really growing in your life, you did it because you were insecure and you felt sad and you needed to grow in that area. Dobby's joining the video. Dobby, you can sit in my lap. You are now opening up about it or sharing the insecurity that you felt. So if this was a family goal or a relationship goal that you felt at the time insecure about focusing on, and you were I'm going to go for it, but I don't know if I got it, you got it, and you're now opening up about that. And what's funny about getting to the place that you thought would make you feel better, it doesn't. I would not, this isn't that relevant in my chart necessarily, but I have a lot of Chiron presence in my chart, and I often feel I set these goals and I get them, and technically I fail at them because of the way that I got them wasn't in my mind what would make me confident about them. So when there's a prominent Chiron, it gets me because I'm this eternal outsider, imposter syndrome. That's the vibe I would say, is that you achieve the thing and now it's time to open up or just accept within yourself that you might never feel good enough because I don't have fucking, I mean, some people are like, look for internal validation. I don't know what that means. I don't have a goal I don't have a solution for this. I don't have a solution for how to feel secure. I think that just kind of like, I don't know. I don't have a solution. That can be sound off in the comments if you have a solution. I just know that this shows like opening up about insecurity, or after a year and a half of the work, you open up about doing the work and having done the work and accomplished the goal and still feeling like there's more work to do. So it's kind of like, well, shit, I got here and it's lonely at the top kind of feeling. So with the moon in the last third of Aries, that's technically the last decan or third part of Aries. Even though Aries is overall ruled by Mars, which is important to show the tenacity and kind of aggression of this letting go, this particular last third of Aries is associated with the Four of Wands tarot card, and it's also ruled by Venus. So there is a little bit of more like understanding or a little bit more harmony here than just like pure Aries, wild, really aggressive energy. And it's kind of like this card can be associated with celebrating a win too early. So I would say the caution with this could be like acknowledge what you focused on, acknowledge where you are and how far you got and how you might still not feel like you really got there, but like don't take too much time. I'd say that this is going to clear out, this is going to end, like don't get caught up in the moment when it's not that big of a deal. To contrast that, the sun is at 24 degrees of Libra, which is the third decan of Libra, and that part of the sky is associated with the Four of Swords, also known as the Truce card, and it's ruled by Jupiter. So even though Libra is ruled by Venus, this part being ruled by Jupiter and being associated with kind of a truce card of like laying down your arms and resting from fighting, shows that this probably and likely was something you were fighting at and insecure about because you were struggling with it for the past year and a half, and now you're like, okay, this is fine. I got here. Like, cool. I got to this place. I don't need to fight anymore. What I really don't like about this eclipse, and what does show, I think, a fight that ends this whole chapter, is the fact that this eclipse is closely scoring Mars. So Mars in Cancer already shows passive aggression or just really not getting to the point with how you're resolving issues. For example, Dobby and Iris just continually run around the room and don't seem to handle things, even though he's very happy to be on my lap right now. So with this closely scoring Mars, it shows probably or definitely a lot of frustration that leads to this ending. So it is a letting go, it's an ending, it's a yay, I got here, look at how far. It almost feels like, you know, when, like, this is a really strange example, when someone is like forced to come out or like reveal their sexuality, and like, it's good that they did it, but they didn't do it on their own terms. It's kind of giving that vibe of like exposing something that you did that you're proud of, that you came a long way about, but like it's prompted by something aggressive that you're fighting about. So I'd say that what prompts this ending, or what prompts this finally like celebrating how far you've come, might be the fact that you feel forced into it, or like you're forced to open up about it. So there's definitely some like frustration and arguing and fighting around this eclipse. I really don't like that. The sun is also going to be conjunct Juno, which is interesting because Juno is generally an asteroid of marriage or union. So it might be that a relationship is a big part of this, not in a good or a bad way. It's just that this definitely refers to a relationship of some kind or a connection to another person. And Venus is also not in too great of a position. Venus is in its antithesis in Scorpio at 29 degrees. So even though that's trine Mars, it definitely shows that there is an intensity of emotion and an intensity of interaction that's unnecessary. It shows like getting way too worked up about things and getting way too personal with the actions and with the things that are happening. Thankfully, you know, Jupiter in Gemini is sextiling this moon, which shows there is an opportunity if we take it or if we work for it towards growth with this. But Jupiter is squaring Saturn, which shows some obstacles and slowness, and Mars in Cancer is also going to be opposite Pluto, approaching in a tighter opposition, which shows manipulation, paranoia, or feeling like there's a power game at play. So overall, I really don't like this eclipse. It's not my least favorite thing I've ever seen, but Venus, also Venus is opposite Uranus. So Venus and Scorpio, I do, to be fucking honest, yes, at this point, I can't even know. I'm not going to be, I don't like this eclipse. Flat out, I don't like this ending. It's like a forced ending. It's like a forced party about something that you weren't really ready to come out or celebrate. Venus opposite Uranus shows shocking relationship dynamics, very disruptive. If only Venus was in Sag right at like the next day, that would have been more convenient. Yeah, I don't like this. It shows I have everything on my, I'm looking at the chart now because my computer's getting repaired. Usually I would just list out, like, I don't script out what I'm going to say. I just script out the transits to make sure to mention, and then I know what to say for it. I'm just looking at it now and I'm like, wow, okay, had I been prepared, I would have introed this with I don't like this. But we're there now. I would say it's the giving up or the ending, the letting go of a chapter that you focused on for a year and a half that you're proud of. You independently worked towards it. You were putting your own needs first and you were really proud of doing it your fucking self. but the way that you're ending it is prompted by a disagreement that you really weren't expecting and you're not happy about. So if you already have thoughts or feelings about these eclipse, do let me know down below. Let's get into what this means for each of the signs. So if you're an Aries rising, this is in your first house of self. You are probably literally coming out about or exposing or revealing a part of your identity that you wanted to explore or come out about. Literally about your appearance, your identity, or your character. If you're a Taurus rising, this is in your 12th house of mental health or isolation. So you're probably having to expose, treat, or let go of something that is detrimental to your mental health that you are going to have to process over the next few months. I forgot to mention this earlier, but this will be over 6 months. I'll relay that again at the end because in case people miss it for the rising signs. Gemini rising, it's in your 11th house of networking and friends. Here, Iris is joining us. She is not a Gemini in anything. She's definitely not a Gemini rising. All my cats are way too calm. In your 11th house shows giving up social networking, an organization, a social group, or something that was a group of people that was helping you facilitate your dreams or accomplish something. You're giving up something socially or disbanding from a group. If you're a Cancer rising, it's in your 10th house of career. You are ending something job-wise, leaving a job, leaving a career, leaving something work. If you are a Leo rising, it's in your 9th house of higher education or travel. You're either leaving, traveling abroad, ending something that was requiring you to be out of the country, or you could be also graduating or ending something educational. If you are a Virgo rising, it's in your 8th house of finances and shared investments. So you're probably either selling an asset, paying off a debt, or having to give up a connection with assets to someone else. If you're not investing or doing anything financially, it could be that you share something valuable with someone and that's now being given up or having to let go. If you are a Libra rising, this is in your 7th house of committed relationships and partnerships. This could be the ending of a 1.5-year relationship, the ending of a contract, or the letting go of a certain way of being around someone because of a disagreement that breaks the kind of bond that you have. It might be romantic, it might not. Serious relationship. If you're a Scorpio rising, it's in your 6th house of physical health or coworkers. You're probably either, it could be an injury or an illness that leads you to change your lifestyle. You could be prompted based on testing or a doctor's notice to change your physical lifestyle. You could also be letting go of or ending a chapter of people working for you. If you are a Sagittarius rising, it's in your 5th house of dating or creativity. You could be ending a romantic relationship rather suddenly, or like suddenly going sober and not partying and stopping fun in that way in your life can show that. It can also show that you are releasing a creative project or ending something you were working on over the past 1.5 years creatively. If you are a Capricorn rising, this is in our 4th house of home or family. So you could be moving, you could finally be wrapping up a chapter of living somewhere for 1.5 years. You could also be ending something with family or letting go of something that's related to your family or having a falling out with family. I am rather confused on what this is for me. I'm not already aware. I think it could just be like, okay, I'm no longer moved, like, I don't know how situation stabilizes. I don't fucking know. I don't have a very active 4th house, so I don't know what this is for me personally. If you're an Aquarius rising, it's in your 3rd house of communication and short-term travel or being busy. So it shows that you could be finishing up a project, something content-wise you've been working on, or ending a way of managing your time or being productive and being like, I'm not going to commute there anymore, I'm going to work from home. And finally, if you're a Pisces rising, it's in your 2nd house of income. You could be stopping something that makes you money, ending an income stream, or even just like changing up the way that you bring in money where you're like, I don't want to do that work anymore to do this money. Like I'm done doing money in that way. The tarot card here that we have for this eclipse is the Chariot. So I actually like this card. It reminds me of the meme or just the scene of Mean Girls where she's like, get in, loser, we're going shopping or whatever. So it's just kind of like getting in something to take you somewhere nice. So I think this shows that although uncomfortable and probably a little bit traumatizing or just unwarranted the way that it's coming, where you are going and the method to getting there is something that you should attach to. And even though you were not ready or you feel really exposed in the way that you have to do it, it shows like take the opportunity to be helped. Take the opportunity to get where you need to go and like get in whatever's getting you there. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like and comment down below how you're feeling about this eclipse. I hope that everyone has a rather calm eclipse. If you have anything in the late degrees of cardinal signs, it's going to be a lot about you guys. And to reiterate, this is going to be something that spreads out over 6 months. So the first domino is falling now and will spread out. But I hope that you all are doing well. Definitely make sure to update me on how things are going. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.